I have been given a topic, IPR ecosystem. So you must be aware that eco is something which is related to the globe and the world and system, which actually coordinating with the different types of units. So let it be health or climate, anything. The IPR acts a very pivotal role in achieving the global needs. So how IPR is actually helping. So let's come to a point where innovation is actually important. So what is innovation? Basically, the innovation is the creation, development, and implementation of a new product, process, or service. So when we talk about the new enterprises or the MSMEs or the startups, so the products, process, and services are really very important because they make USP for the system. And as we know, there are a lot many startups are coming and they are famous because of their USP. So let it be like I have given an example, cred system. You must be aware nowadays it is very famous because for a person like me, who forgets the things. So cred actually makes me memorize that your credit card bill is pending and all the credit cards are assembled in a one place. If you people are not using it, kindly start using it at an earliest. It is of very use. So innovation is the act of introducing something to new to a company. So let it be a product or a new market strategy or any new method. And what is IPR ecosystem? So IPR ecosystem actually provides you a legal framework where institutions, practices, or the stakeholders involved in creating, protecting their management and the enforcement of their intellectual property rights via various tools like the Patent Act or international treaties like TRIPS agreement and anything. So innovation is basically an integral part and is a very unique variable and a decisive factor in an enterprise, which is really necessary for element for newly built businesses or startups. So when we talk about the IPR or the startups and MSMEs, what are the government aids or the government facilities? Because I am from a government organization, so I'll let you know because the 15-minute times is really a very short period of time. So I'll highlight the important points which ultimately helps you to know what are the government of India flagships. Okay, so when we talk about startups, SMEs and all, so one thing comes in our mind, that is the Atal Innovation Mission. So AIM. So I want to focus because this is really a very important mission, and every person who are new to the the IPR regime, they should know what is Atal Mission. So it's an innovative of Government of India flagship to promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. And their objectives basically is to develop new programs and policies for fostering innovation in different sectors of the economy. So, the startups like, startups and small businesses, they are working for innovations, and they should know that the how IP really helps them to build their resume. Okay, so this Atal Innovation Mission basically provides you the platform and collaboration opportunities for the different stakeholders, and it actually creates awareness and umbrella structure to oversee the innovation ecosystem of the country. So initiatives of Atal Innovation Mission are like, our government is not only focusing when we acquire something after a certain age. Our government mission is to enable the young minds to think innovative. So for that, the Atal Innovation Mission is establishing Atal Tinkering Labs at school levels. Okay, at the kids of class 6 to 12, they can have this facility. They have all the new facilities which they can utilize for innovative minds. Now, when we talk about startups and entrepreneurs, the AIM, the Atal Innovation Mission, has Atal incubation centers at different levels. And for the unserved or underserved part of India, there are many places in India still they don't know the technology and all. So the Atal community innovation centers, they encourages actually a spirit of entrepreneurship in the underserved regions of India by providing enabling infrastructure facilities and by creating the environment of innovation. Now, for the advanced technology, they are still the Atal mission is working in each and every aspect of the country, let it be from the young minds, the kids, or the advanced technology. So Atal New India Challenge, the ANIC, it is called as ANIC. So ANICs are basically the products and solution based on advanced technologies in areas of national importance and social relevance through a grant-based mechanism. So basically via ANIC, you can get the grant and you can work upon the advanced technologies of national importance. There is Arise ANIC challenges where the national initiative to promote research and innovation and increase competitiveness of Indian startups and MSMEs. They are also providing some sort of mentor. So the proactive leaders in a various regimes of our country, they are voluntarily giving their time and expertise to guide and enable the students to experience, learn and practice future skills such as design and computational thinking and all. So this is important to know what is a startup and who qualifies for startup in our country. So this is the chart of IPR applications, which is showing how the patents design applications are actually they have increased from 2018 to 19 to 2020 to 23, a 50% rise in the filing of the applications. So what is the startup? So startup is basically, as per the Startup India, for a period of 10 years from the date of incorporation, registration, if it is incorporated as a private limited company or registered as a partnership firm. So registered under Section 59 of Partnership Act or a limited liability partnership, these qualifies as a startup. And there are few things which need to be fulfilled, like the turnover of the entity should not go beyond rupees 100 crores in any of the financial years from the establishment. And also entities working toward, this is very important because the aim of our Atal innovation or anything, the IPR ecosystem is to promote the culture of innovation in our country. So the entity, for a startup to be qualified as that, the entity is working towards innovation development or improvement of products or processes or services. If not, then also it should be a scalable business model with a high potential of employment generation or wealth creation. So, and there is one exclusion, like if you are splitting from a previously existing business, you are not qualifying or not considered as a startup. So what is the need for an IPR? So an efficient, equitable intellectual property system can help all the countries to realize the intellectual property potential as a catalyst. So actually IPR acts as a catalyst for the economic development. The more the IPR, the more the economy and the more the well-being of the social and the culture. So you know all that, and if not knowing, then IPR is basically working in a quid pro mechanism. What this quid pro is a legal term basically. So it's a for you have to give something in return of something. So this is a very good balance between the interest of the innovators and the public interest, and how the innovators are benefited and how the public. So when you are doing some sort of innovation, you have to give the full disclosure to the government, and the government publicizes it for the benefit of the public. And in return of that, the innovator is actually receiving an exclusive right for a certain period, which actually bars others from selling, making, and using of their products or services or processes. So this is a quid pro mechanism. As we talk about the startups, so startups are basically the 80% of their growth is based on their IP portfolio. So yes, IPR is very much important for the startups. Now, why IPR is relevant for them? So why IPR? As we talk from global health to addressing the issues of climate, the intellectual property is actually an important element in policy making. This is actually acting as a fuel. So maintaining a robust intellectual property ecosystem that fuses innovation and creativity is imperative for a better and sustainable world. So, however, it is really a challenge for countries where there are low, the income of population or poor resources are available. So, the economic development and social and cultural well-being is basically dependent on how strong IPR of a startup is. Benefit for startups, like the government is encouraging the startups to come for the IPR protection. And what are the benefits and startup is getting from the government? So they are getting the reduction of fees in the filing or examination of their application. So when we come to our office for filing an examination for the startup, the fee is reduce as compared to others. So what else you can avail as a startup? You can have the facility of expedited examination. There is a provision in our Patent Act, if we talk about patents, that you can have the facility where you can expedite your application by filing for expedited examination. Also, the government is providing you a facilitator. So what facilitator is doing? So facilitator is provided under the SIPP scheme, and what are the charges for those facilitators is being given by the government back to them. You need not to give the charges of the facilitator. Who can be eligible for startup or small entity? Sorry. Small entity education institution in India. So as per Rule 2FB of Patent Act, an entity in India recognized as a startup by the competent authority under the Startup India initiative. So when in case of a foreign entity, an entity fulfilling the criteria for turnover and period of incorporation, they can also go for startup. When we talk about small entities, so small entity is clearly defined in Rule 2FA of our Patent Act. So in case of an enterprise engaged in the manufacture or production of goods, an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery, and it should not exceed the specified limit, then they can qualify for a small entity. When we talk about educational institution, so Rule 2CA of Patent Act clarifies who can qualify for educational institution. So it can be any university established under the Central Government Act, a provisional act, or a state act, and includes any other educational institutions where they are actually receiving any sort of grants or authority designated by the central government or state government or the union territories in this regard. I told the SIPP. So it's basically the Startup Intellectual Property Protection. So what is the purpose of this SIPP? So SIPP basically provides you the scheme for facilitating, the startups or the small businesses. So it is being launched in 2016 and is extendable up to March 2026. The scheme is implemented by Office of CGPDTM that provides facilitators to startups for filing and processing their application. So what facilitators do? They help you in processing and filing of your application for either it is patent, design, or trademarks. And what are the professional charges? The professional charges of the facilitators are being reimbursed by our office. So SIPP aims to promote awareness and adoption of intellectual property rights among startups. Scheme is inclined to nurture and mentor innovative and emerging technologies. Who can apply for SIPP? So any startup certified by the Startup Certification Board, any Indian innovator creator who files an IP application through any TISC established, like TISC is a center established by WIPO for technology and innovation. Any educational institute fulfilling conditions specified in clause F and clause HF sub rule of Patent Act 224C. An eligible Indian applicant filing an international patent application as receiving office in India. Okay, so who can be facilitator? This is important to know for the patent agents, like a patent agent registered with the CGPDTM, trademark agent, or advocate defined under the Advocates Act 1961, a government department like TIFEC, NRDC, they can qualify to be a facilitator. There is one term I want to highlight under the SIPP, like IP Mitra. So IP Mitra is for facilitating startups in patents, trademarks, and designs protection under the scheme. For facilitating startups intellectual property protection, IP Mitra can provide assistance in filing, support, and facilitate in processing of IP applications. And they can also help you broaden one's IP portfolio. So I think with this little knowledge and the time provided, this things are important to know. And yeah, one more thing, there is one also Kapila initiative by the government for higher educations, where you can have a grant for the IP for the IP portfolios or IP applications. So Kapila is basically the Kalam program for IP literacy and awareness, and it provides a financial assistance to the institutes that are part of higher education and which will create appropriate, and this Kapila is beneficial because they are creating IPR awareness, they are funding, they are providing you IPR courses in the colleges, UG, PG and PhD level, and like these are the grants they are providing. So with that knowledge, I think in this the available time, this can I just explain. And if you want to know more, you can log on to our www.ipindia.gov.in. Thank you very much.